Hi, my name's Luke. This is a presentation of part 2 of an assignment for a design and technology subject. I do a correspondence at Wagga University. For this assignment we were required to design and develop a product. So for this product I decided to go with the idea of converting my trade out of a ute into a van. The reason for this is the utes, at the moment police are targeting tradies with uncovered loads. I have a ute which doesn't have a cover, so this is a problem for me with $350 fines per item that is loose. So for this I was lucky enough to be able to buy a van. Changing over to the van is my design and project. So what I've done in the background here is done a draw system and deck. To start with, I needed to research this draw system. So I went to Bunnings, looked at all their draw systems, runners. None of them were strong enough, more kitchen type things. I went to 4-wheel drive places. None of them I don't think would have been strong enough, and they didn't come out far enough for me anyway. I really wanted a draw system that came out a long way and took a great load. So I went to the internet, I researched some ideas on the internet, that found a site about camping trailers, how to build your own camping trailer and draw system. One of the ideas in this forum was pairs of skateboard bearings, which sounded cheap to me and you could make it yourself. So I went along with this idea and researched a bit further. I went to bearing supply places, found that the bearings, what size bearing to use, the maximum load that bearing would take, and then I came home and began working on that idea. So I started off doing one side first of the draw runner, 10 pairs of bearings, so it should be strong enough, and then tested one runner before I carried on with the rest of the project. It was successful, so I continued on. One problem with the draw system is that I have wheel arches in the back of the van, so to access that space I needed to do doors in the top of the floor, which you can see here, to access the side rails. One thing in my design brief, I indicated that I have a hobby of kart racing, and I needed to have tie-down points to sit a kart, which you can see here. I found flush-mounted tie-down points, so I can still load the van with materials and not get scratches in them. Also, camping is a hobby that we would like to do more of, as it's more family. We have tested this with a mattress and my son and my wife, and it was quite cosy and enjoyable. That also met the design brief that I wrote about. With the drawers, I wanted the drawers to pull both ways, so here's how far out they pull. Quite a long way. You can see here, very strong, my whole weight on the drawers. So that definitely met my design brief. I was glad I researched the bearings further and how strong they were and what they were capable of. Around this side of the van you'll see that the drawers are able to be pulled both ways. They have handles on them, both ways like that. I had a space underneath this side I found halfway through the project. I didn't know I was going to do. I just decided. Over here I put some shelves. I was pretty happy with that. That looks pretty handy. I don't know what for you, but it looks pretty handy. Part of the other, if you come back around this way, part of the other of my design brief was that it was going to be easily maintained. Being a builder, you can drag a lot of mud around, so I found some rubber to lay over the top of my plywood. Researching the rubber was a bit more difficult than what I thought. I thought I'd be right, go to Clark Rubber, get some rubber, but Clark Rubber closed down in our area, so that led me to the phone book, ringing around rubber suppliers, carpet suppliers. None of them could help me. I ended up finding a local upholsterer who had rolls of rubber, 6 different rolls to choose from, perfect for me. So I got this one. It's easily to be washed, wiped down, and does the job fine for me. Finishing off the draw system, for finishing off, I use aluminium angle to cover the edges. I used oil on the ply to protect it from the weather. Timber, as everyone knows, can rot, so untreated probably wouldn't last long, but being decking oil and external oil, which I use and so research purposes, I've done on-site testing on-site with decks, and the natural decking oil seems to be quite sufficient in this case. Part of the rest of the design would have been roof racks for a van to load, so getting out of a ute. With builders racks into a van with no racks, so I decided to go with a heavy gauge steel to take substantial loads. Being a van with no actual chassis connection, I needed to do 5 roof racks to take the load, to spread the load over the roof gutter. If you come around this side, I can show you an idea that I came up with. These here are easy load hooks to load timber into, or planks, rather than reaching all the way up the top. If you need to do a quick load at the shop and get in there, it's easy to reach. And there I had some offcuts of steel. I thought that would be perfect to make a hook, so I cut the angles, re-welded them, and put them back on. Beneath the steel on the roof rack, I laid a piece of rubber to join to the van, so there was no scratching or rust or anything like that. So height-wise was an issue with the design of the roof racks. I noticed a lot of shopping centres have height restrictions with bars, undercover parking. So I drove around a little bit and sort of got a bit of an average height of the local shopping centres, and made sure that I was within that height of the shopping centre, so I could still drive under there safely without knocking the top off my van or their pipework. So I think I met that criteria in my design brief quite sufficiently. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the design. Everything I've tested worked, so I continued on. Every aspect that was in the design brief, I feel that I met. And part of the project was developing a design folio, which I've never done before, and I found that to be quite helpful throughout the project. Being able to go back to the design folio, staying focused on what my aim was, staying on track, and that helped me to do that. So I'm pretty happy with the design folio process in production of a project. Thanks. Anyway, that sums up my design. Thanks for your time. Cheers.